Hello and welcome to this week's programming assignment, the midterm programming challenge I did for my C++ course. The assignment was to create a program that will calculate a patient's hospital charges using two overloaded functions. So the first thing I do is include my libraries. And here I have my function prototypes, which will be my overloaded functions. And as you can see, I'm using the same name for the functions, which are the double data type, and their difference is in the parameters, which have a different number of parameters. Okay, so in my main function, I am defining and initializing the variables that I want from the user. The first variable I'm using is a char, because this variable will hold the menu selection from the user, which will be a letter. And the hospital doesn't charge for half days, so I'm using an int type for the variable. But the rest will be doubles because these will hold the prices, which might be calculated in cents. So here I'm displaying a prompt for the user and then using a while loop to validate the user's menu selection. If the user enters a valid entry, the program moves on to a switch statement to allow the user to input whether the patient was an inpatient or an outpatient. So if the user selects a lowercase or uppercase I for inpatient, then the program asks how many days were spent in the hospital, the daily rate, the medication charges, and the charges for hospital services, and then it validates each entry using while loops to make sure that the user enters a positive numeric value. Okay, then the total charges will be sent to the getCharges function to calculate the total from the values that are currently stored in variables and then displayed to the user. Here we see in the next case, if the user enters an uppercase or lowercase o for outpatient. Since there's no hospital stay, then the program then collects the medication and service charges only, and before calling the other getCharges function and displaying the total to the user. So you can see that I've used the set precision and fixed to format a value with 2 decimal places so that the user will see a dollar amount. Here I'm pausing the system to allow the user to review the total before the program exits. And then this part of the function has, this part of the program has my function definitions. They both have a variable called total, but only one function will be called each time the program is run, depending whether the user selects inpatient or outpatient. Okay, so let's run it. So you can see that if I enter any other letter other than I or O, then the program alerts the user, hey, it's an invalid input. So, okay, let's try -20. So you can see that the program won't accept negative values either. Okay, so let's enter some values that the program accepts. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And now I have to hit enter to exit the program. Okay, well, thank you for watching. See you next week.